Boy, this one here. Actually, let's go to this real quick. The wind turbine. I'll get back to that. I'll quickly read from this here. The Trump administration is ordering a sweeping environmental review of the growing offshore wind industry that threatens to derail the nation's first major project and raises a host of questions for the future developments. Again, downplaying this are the people that are trying to run this operation. I'll continue to read here. The BOEM, a division of the Interior Department, is ordering a study of a cumulative impact of a string of projects along the East Coast. The review comes in response to concerns from fishermen about the impact of offshore wind development on East Coast fisheries. Goes on to read that the analysis throws Vineyard Wind future into doubt. The developer, a partnership of Avangrid Incorporated and Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners, warned it would be difficult to proceed if BOEM delayed its environmental analysis beyond the summer. But Vineyard Wind officials sought to strike an upbeat tone after, just like the CEO of National Grid, by the way, talking about, don't worry, there's going to be more solar and wind. It's just working the kinks out. But they're still saying that they call the decision a surprise and disappointment, but insisted the project remains valuable and continues to move forward. Vineyard's wind problems are several, according to industry analysis and those familiar to the project, ClimateWire. First and foremost is the availability of investment tax credit, a federal subsidy available to wind projects. The project has anticipated taking a 24% tax credit on $2.8 billion in capital costs. That enabled the company to sign a contract with 3 Massachusetts utilities at a price far lower than what analysts had initially expected. But the tax credit expires at the end of the year, while the project could still qualify for an exemption because of the permitting challenges it has faced. The logistics associated with the building America's first major offshore project makes that more complicated. And it says here at the bottom, this is the best part of the article, if you can't handle permitting challenges and you're dependent on subsidies, you have no business trying to build things in the ocean. Well, that's pretty true, first and foremost. But we talked about this kind of thing coming from the Trump administration months ago, where he was going to issue several reviews and take another look at these projects. Look, we talked about this a few weeks ago. A community in Michigan decided that they were wasting their money and their taxpayers' dollars on maintaining an investment that really did not create the wealth that they thought it was going to generate. In fact, they thought by now that this was already going to pay for itself, and it hasn't. And now President Trump, who is becoming hip to this game that some of these green deals are doing here, which is a cash grab, and he's making sure and reviewing these things and dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making sure that we're not wasting more money. And especially the concern with an economy of fishing, basically, on the East Coast. That's first and foremost. Yes, we want reliable energy. But President Trump is also smart enough to know that he keeps getting reports about how unreliable solar wind is. So why are we going to invest in an industry such as solar and wind, spend millions of dollars on building this, and in the meantime, destroying the fishermen's economy? So we're spending millions and also losing millions at the same time, which doubles the loss, if not accelerates our losses into tripling it through a period of time, of course. So I'm glad that the current administration is actually in the White House right now, because they have people who are looking at both sides of it and they're pumping the brakes, saying, whoa, wait a minute here. Hold on. Let's take a look at this again. If we had a Democrat president, there would be no doubt that we would already start to see the Green New Deal policies go into effect right this second. That's the scary part. And a lot of you folks don't like it when we make this political, but I'm sorry, it is political. It almost feels like that if you believe in man-made global warming, you kind of favor the left side of politics. And if you believe in the grand solar minimum and the sun being the natural driver of the climate, chances are you are also a conservative. And I'll get into that here in a minute. Why as well? Because we have a list to go over of people who are actually being recognized as the top skeptics of climate change out there. Person left a comment earlier and says he believes in the GSM, but thinks that we're nuts because we support such a nut job in the office. Okay. I don't know anybody out there who supports the sun is driven by natural climate that is a Democratic voter. I haven't met one yet. If you are out there, I'd like to meet you. It's interesting because so far, if it's been global warming, it's been far left radical politicians. And if it's been the opposite, where climate change is natural, we're seeing a lot more conservatives. Notice how I'm not calling anybody names. See, that's the difference. You don't have to come out and make it political and insult the other side. You can just simply say the left side believes in man-made global warming, and the conservative side, the right side, believes that the climate change is natural and that we still believe in the science. You don't have to call the other side a bunch of names to get the point across. But if you notice, when you're discussing things with a global warmist or someone who favors the left politics versus the conservative politics, you get called names and you get threatened and you get called you're crazy and you should be locked up in a mental institution. Well, people like Mark Morano and Roy Spencer Jr. and just a plethora of people out there who are getting the information out about climate change are changing that narrative thing. And we're weeding out the ones who are calling us names and whatnot. In fact, it's themselves they need to look into the mirror when they say these things, because I always find it funny that people say that we're climate deniers, that we're deniers of the science. Nobody is denying anything of the science. The only reason why we know it's not man-made global warming is because you and others that follow this channel are paying attention to the actual science and what the data is telling you. Not some cooked up weather station on a slate top roof or right in the middle of an airport where millions of jet fuel is burned a day during a hot baking sun on the pavement. Other weather stations being set up in parking lots where ice cream trucks are parked in front of all day, and the exhaust from the engine gets to help with the addition of the temperature. I mean, just ludicrous spots where we're recording these so-called record temperatures. And we're supposed to just accept that. Hey, by the way, that record temperature today, it came from a rooftop that was black and made of metal. Just wanted to let you know. Yeah, still record though, right? All-time high.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.